So we're back in the conference room for another movie review.
Yeah.
So we're doing Dominion.
It's time Dominion.
Yeah. So I figured we would go to the Jurassic era.
Wow.
For ambience. You ready?
I am.
Okay. This is wrong.
Well. Yeah.
Oh. All right. We made it.
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And that thing?
Yeah.
That's
nice.
That's probably the best part.
That's pretty nice. So, let's try to get this done before we get eaten.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done. All right, yeah, so we saw Dominion Friday.
Yeah.
There was actually more people in the theater than I expected for afternoon.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I always am like, earliest showing possible, and then it's like 15 people show up, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, it was weird. We got there super early, and when we walked in there was already like 6 or 7
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So that's cool. It's nice to see.
And it was a wide variety of ages, too. Mm-hmm. Like, it was little kids to, like, people clearly, like, in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So.
It was funny. There was, like, an older lady in front of us, and she was, like, dying laughing at stuff.
Yeah. I know.
This lady loves
Jurassic
Park.
Or at least Jeff Goldblum, because that's what we were all laughing at.
Yeah, I mean, he's the ticket seller for that movie for sure.
He was really good in that. I enjoyed
He's
it a lot.
Good. Yeah, he was so good. So what's your overall thoughts about like the movie, the plot, like just generalized?
So like immediately when I left, I was like, I like it, but I need to see it again because I just felt like I missed things because I had to keep leaning. Oh, not keep, but a couple times I'd lean over and I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. As the days have gone by, there's a couple things that it's one of those things that like right now in this time and space I feel a certain way about it, but I felt that way with Fallen Kingdom too, and then rewatched it and I was like, oh, I don't have the same opinion.
I felt worse with Fallen Kingdom. I remember leaving Fallen Kingdom and being like,
right, exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. I don't feel like that from here, but I definitely, I don't know. I don't think I liked it any more than the original trilogies. I liked it more than World.
Yeah.
Not that World's bad. I liked it more, but I think the original trilogy still, I like that a lot better.
Yeah, I do too. I think so. If we were to rate them, so now that we've seen all 6,
ooh, okay,
I would say Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Jurassic World.
Okay.
Jurassic 3.
Okay. yeah.
Dominion, Fallen Kingdom, Lost World.
Okay.
Did I say Lost World? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of would be.
That's where you would put
ranking.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As far as like the ones that I would want to rewatch.
Gotcha.
Like I always will watch
Park and World.
Yeah. Because I just love. They're both like the beginning of the park. They're both very similar movies.
Yeah.
One is not like aged terribly, but one is like super modern.
Right.
And like highly stylized, like beautiful park.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, the first movie brought to actual life, right?
Yeah.
Just in a different. Yeah. I think it would. For me, it would be Jurassic Park, Jurassic 3, probably Lost World, then Dominion. Yeah. No, probably Dominion, then World, then Fallen Kingdom.
It's funny that 3 for both of us is like higher up on our list when that's not really like a
people
movie
don't
that
like it.
We were super like we didn't love that movie like a lot,
No,
I remember seeing it in theaters and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We picked it apart pretty good in the podcast because of the whole thing, but I don't know.
It's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because we like Alan Grant more than anybody else.
Probably a big reason to it. Yeah. I find that nothing against Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, they're fine in the movies, but I like the original people much more. And it's funny because the thing that I don't know if you were thinking this, and you're probably not because you've deleted it from your mind, but so it's not Hondo, it's Holdo, right?
Holdo. So
Laura Dern plays the purple hair lady in The Last Jedi who hyper drives into all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And she's a really poorly written character in that movie.
Yeah.
So when I expected to see her in here, even though she's good in Jurassic Park and in Jurassic 3 limitedly, I was like, is Laura Dern changed? And then you watch it, and she's totally fine in this movie.
Yeah.
She's just like she was in the other movies. She's good. And so I was really pleasantly surprised about that.
That
So,
she was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or still good, I should say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had even like forgotten that she was in
I know,
the Star
right?
Wars movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't feel like that to me at all. She
No,
felt like a good actress.
Yeah, she
still.
like fleshed kind of
Oh,
right
yeah.
back into her role.
Yeah, I think
But-
so too. So from this point on, we'll go into like full spoiler
Yeah,
territory.
yeah, it's a new movie, so full
Yeah,
spoilers.
full spoilers. Like I told you at the theater, like going into this movie, I was very much, how are they going to get?
Yeah.
Why are the 3 original people coming back?
Yeah.
And how do they connect with the new
Yeah.
characters? And as far as I'm concerned, I think the way they fleshed out that storyline was pretty good.
Perfect sense. Yeah, it really did. The locust thing was an interesting thing to tack on because they had never done like whatever Jurassic or Cretaceous insects, essentially,
yeah,
whatever they were.
Yeah.
But it made sense, right? It was like the next logical jump was Fallen Kingdom introduces genetics with cloning and like even more modifying it made the Indoraptor even more than the Indominus Rex.
Yeah.
So it made sense like the next thing they would bioengineer like insects and like try to control like
Yeah.
company, you see it like it's basically like if Google or Apple or Microsoft had what they have the ability to do, like that's what they would be doing.
And we see that today even with like big pharma and stuff.
Right.
Like they control like seed specifically.
Right.
Like they want this brand of seed to be planted by farmers, and they get
Right.
a percentage of it. So it makes sense, but be careful what you say, because we are sponsored this week by Biosyn.
Biosyn.
Biosyn for all your biological needs.
Yeah. I love
I love Biosyn. But as far as like that company, it was super cool to see. Like it took us to like the end of the movie where we're like, is that like Lee Dotson? Is that like-
what's his name came in? The Ramses character came in, and he was like, or no, maybe it was Jeff Goldblum's character. It was like at the end of the movie when they're firing Goldblum or Ian Malcolm, and it's like he's like, and he goes Dodgson or whatever his name was, and he was like pointed at him, and I was like, my brain was like, you remember this name?
Yeah,
What a
callback
Yeah,
is.
what a callback.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's something that really only like true Jurassic Park people would remember because it's like he literally was a throwaway character for Wayne Knight to just have a stupid moment out in wherever he was, Costa Rica or wherever.
Yeah, and I think in the book, Biosyn was another company in the book that they were trying to steal stuff from him, and they would send spies, and they were trying to collect stuff.
Yeah.
So the whole Barbasol can, right? Like, so Dotson was trying to buy the Barbasol can from Nedry.
You're right.
And so, like you were saying, that Telltale game,
Oh yeah.
that is like them going into the park to get the Barbasol can. Like, technically that's canon.
Probably,
Because now Dotson has it in the future,
yeah.
and now he's starting his own shady giant corporation.
Yeah.
And but as a corporation, like I really like kind of bought into what
Oh,
they were
yeah.
doing at first,
Absolutely. It was a thing where I was surprised they didn't try to do more of like the Thanos Joker thing where it's like you sympathize with the villain, where you're like, well, I can kind of understand where he's coming from. They did a little bit. They started to. They were like, oh, this is going to help cancer and Alzheimer's, and they went on it, right?
Yeah, right.
But then all of a sudden it was like they didn't fully go down that path. They kind of just were like, oh, look what we're... And then they went over here, So
So they're trying to... Their big thing is they were trying to get rid of fields.
Right.
And only had, like, their specific branded seed, like... So they could control the food market.
Yeah.
But... But typical Jurassic Park, they learn nothing from their predecessors.
No. Well, Henry Wu doesn't learn anything.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't.
Every single
he never
movie.
learns anything. And then, so finally in this movie, he's like, we did a horrible thing. You've been doing horrible things since 1994, Henry. But it was nice to see him like have like a story arc at the end where he did stop his like genetically modified like grasshopper things.
Yeah.
So he kind of has a full story arc where like he saw the error of his ways, wanted to fix it.
True. Yeah, that's true. He did.
And they fleshed out more of the what's her name?
Oh,
the clone.
Maisie.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool to see, honestly, because that is such a weird set piece in the second movie.
It really,
like,
really
is.
is.
She's a clone. I was
Like, what does this have to do
What
with
is that?
dinosaurs? Right? Yeah.
So, explaining that backstory and being like, no, she wasn't made in a test tube. She was like, basically, she made herself.
Yeah.
And like, was pregnant with herself.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's
I was
weird.
looking at it from the Blue perspective, and thinking, Blue just asexually reproduced. And then laid the egg, and Beta was born, right?
Yeah, because what does Wu say? He says that he bred the raptors with.
Oh yes.
Monarch?
No.
Lizard.
It was like lizard.
Komodo dragons or whatever.
Something like
and
that.
They can change their sex and produce whether or not they need to.
So she can't. So the mom can't do that.
Yeah.
So the thing I was wondering was like, were they insinuating that somehow she used like her own DNA to like make it? Because otherwise, I mean, we all understand how it works. So it's like if you take away the man part, it's like how did she like double up on the woman? It's like that was the thing I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, they didn't really dig into that too much.
No, right? Because my thought was that's how animals do it. They just use their own and then right. But it's like humans don't work like that, and you can't like genetically modify yourself to that degree that I'm aware of. So I know it's like a really brainy thing, but
but those movies deal with like crazy science anyway. So.
Yeah.
No, I mean it was a pretty quick explanation, and just nice to have like an explanation other than.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see that she was at the original park, right? She was like
she was
seeing all the thing, and it was cool to see that the baby Triceratops or something. Well, you could see it was like a puppet.
Yeah,
and it looked. I loved it. I loved
how
90s.
That was
great.
That was cool. Yeah, that was. I do enjoy that. But it was cool too that like Dr. Wu had like such high regard for like her original.
Yeah.
Like, she was like a brilliant scientist there at the park.
Yeah, and apparently so did Ellie. Ellie knew.
Yeah.
Somehow knew her.
Yeah, she met her in like college or something. She said
something. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
and she was like pregnant then with herself. I was like, oh, that's okay. Interesting.
That's going great for you then.
Seems like you're doing good stuff over there. Oh man, but yeah. So having the original characters come back, like we were saying, like that storyline to me seems pretty realistic. Jeff Goldblum was basically working at Biosyn because it paid well.
Yeah,
and he, you know how he's always like very cynical about big companies. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it kind of seemed like he took the not. I said it to him when he came out of the theater. They're like, oh, he's doing what he did in Lost World, but he didn't do what he did in Lost World because Lost World he was just going to save his girlfriend.
Yeah, basically.
Right. That was what he did, and Hammond sent these other people, and then Vince Vaughn's character there was a part of this like underground movement, right? So basically, Jeff Goldblum did what Vince Vaughn did in Lost World, which was like he was coming in and like coming through and ruining what they were doing.
Yeah, it's almost like he had an inclination that like that major company was like bad.
Yeah.
So he was trying to like just take the money while he could, but also like infiltrate it. Because then he's got that other guy working with him too, and they're both trying to stop them from destroying the planet, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I wish that we talked about when we left. I had wished that they had just plopped in a couple more characters from all of the movies, because we got a full-on Jurassic World callback. Like you saw the two people on the thing from the computer screens, but then you got the other handler is in the movie.
Chris Pratt's like buddy.
Yeah,
that was cool.
But I was hoping you would get, I don't know. I mean, I know the Kirby's are a little too much, but
Yeah, that's a whole other side.
just
thing.
something. But I was thinking it would have been nice to see Vince Vaughn, or even like I can't think of the girlfriend, or even the daughter. Like it would have been
Kelly.
just somebody.
Yeah,
I would have liked just a little bit more.
Yeah, like you said, when you first see Alan Grant at the dig site again.
Billy, that's what we talked
to
about.
To me, it was just like you said. It was so funny that like he's still brushing off dinosaur bones.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and then that guy that calls down to him, like you're like, oh, is that Billy? Like that would be so cool if it was Billy. Still, still.
I know.
Just that throwaway, would be.
It's okay. I mean,
super cool.
People would love it. It's like I know the guy would only have like one line of dialogue, and he would, but like still.
But the Asian girl from the other.
Oh yeah, him and the other guy.
Yeah, I mean he had more of a role.
True.
Because he was the
CIA guy,
the CIA
right?
guy at that one point. But like she was in the very beginning when they like broke in to try to like take the.
I was surprised to see them come back.
And then she was gone after that.
Yeah.
So she didn't have a super big role either.
No, it was funny too because I forgot how the scene opened, but they show them and I was like, oh wow, it's those people from Fallen Kingdom. I was like, man.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see them.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
We both remarked how we enjoyed like the commercial like news broadcast of like what has happened to the world in the 4 years of Fallen Kingdom, and like seeing everything, and
it really sets up the movie a lot better than like rewatching the movie.
Yeah.
So like we were fresh from watching the other one, so we kind of remember that stuff. But like if you haven't seen it,
right.
It's like So these are the main 3 plot points.
Right.
From the other movie that carry into this movie.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I liked that. Yeah. So having Jeff Goldblum back.
Yeah.
Was pretty cool.
I really enjoyed it.
The thing that I leaned over and said to you, I was like, man, he looks like really tall standing next to like Dr. Grant and Ellie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh well. The first movie, all he does is lie down the whole time.
Yeah,
he's not even standing up in that movie.
No,
he's never standing up with those guys. He's either sitting in the Jeep, or he's laying in the back of the Jeep, or he's laying on the conference table on the radio,
or he's sitting in the helicopter. Right?
He's never like standing.
No,
because it was like this. I mean,
would you wonder if maybe because they were such a height difference, maybe that was a choice.
Maybe
Steven Spielberg did was like,
it was like
don't
too jarring.
He
looked like
tall.
one of the dinosaurs himself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool, and I liked seeing, like you saw, we got to see Owen's house fleshed out, and him and Claire have a more stable relationship, and
Blue just like lives in the woods by their house.
Yeah, with the bus and all that. Yeah,
that was cool. I was just trying to imagine, like, first of all, it's cool to see like dinosaurs in the snow.
That's true. Yeah,
we've never seen that before.
Yeah,
and then the other thing is like just imagine like being out like at your house by like the fire, and you can hear like raptors in the distance and like wolves fighting.
Yeah,
it's like, man, this is a crazy world.
That was cool. I showed the bunny.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, oh okay, yeah, it's showing the beta how to hunt, right? And then they're watching it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's gonna kill the bunny, right? And then the wolf jumps in.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, and I was like, well, that's weird. And then all of a sudden it was like, now you hunt.
The bunny wasn't what
right?
Hunting. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I did. I actually. So when you see the trailer for this movie, you're like, okay, so the whole movie, Chris Pratt is going to be looking for that baby Blue, like looking for Beta, and it was like a very small part of the movie because like all the trailers were showing like he's like, I'm going to get her back, and then he's got her on the back, he's got her tied to his backpack, and it's like that was a very small percentage of the movie.
Yeah.
And like I never even considered the fact that like Maisie was kidnapped.
No, I didn't.
They would even be trying to find her or anything.
No, I definitely didn't.
I didn't think that anybody would even know she existed because,
right,
like, everybody that knew she was a clone was like dead,
right,
from that movie.
Right.
So I liked that. I liked it. Like they both, Maisie and Beta, both ended up at BioSyn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like where everybody met up. So there was all these other storylines to get there. So like Owen and Claire had their own storyline to get. They go to Italy, and that street chase was like amazing in Italy. That was pretty fun to watch.
That was cool.
and then from there they get to Biosyn.
Yeah, with
And,
the pilot.
The pilot lady. Yeah, she was pretty cool too.
She was cool. Yeah.
That's because in the trailer, they like her and Chris Pratt were like fighting that
Like on the
raptor,
ice,
and you're
yeah.
like, who is that
Yeah.
lady? I remember we thought maybe she was
Kelly.
Kelly.
I know.
That would have been cool.
It would have been really cool.
Oh well. But yeah, no, she was a cool character. And then so the other original 3 Jurassic Park characters, Jeff Goldblum invites Ellie to come to Biosyn because like he's trying to like show her what's going on.
Yeah.
And she drags Alan with her because Alan is like deathly in love with her still.
Right, and I think that her other extra reason besides that was he's basically like a respected source.
Yeah.
And so
he
like
could be a witness.
Anybody here in need of an eyewitness?
Nope.
Are you sure about that? Well, I was called down here specifically to this location for an eyewitness.
right. That like if he says it like wow, it's Dr. Alan Grant. Like,
Which is so funny to me because towards the end of the movie, I was like, Dodson, he's supposed to be like this smart guy, but it's like he's actually an idiot.
wow.
Because you have like he's all like excited to see like Ellie and Alan, right? In the beginning, he's like shaking their hands and he's saying you guys are legends, and,
Right.
You know, we love you. But at the same time, like they've been trying to sue the original Jurassic Park since '94. They've been talking outright about how bad the park is. Remember, and so
Right.
in Jurassic Park 3, Alan Grant is talking about like how that's all fake, and you need to study real bones, real fossils. That park it's just
Yeah.
magic. It
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And they've both been very like outspoken against it. Ian
Yeah.
had like ruined his reputation by speaking about the park, and they called him crazy because they were trying to cover it up. The government was trying to cover it up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was like labeled nuts.
Right.
And now you have these 3 people in your facility where you know you're doing awful things, and he's like, yeah, they're not going to why would they try to do anything bad?
Right.
Like, yeah, just give them full access to the facility, whatever.
I think he was misguided. I think he thought what he was doing was.
And I thought, like, up to the end of the movie, I thought he was like, he knew that they would be doing stuff, and he was going to try to like get rid of them,
Yeah.
or like allow them to figure out the truth and then like keep them captive or whatever.
Right. Right.
And it was like very blatantly, like at the end, he was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean they went down into the lab?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what?
Of course they went down into the lab. Because that was the thing too, right? Because there's that scene where Ian looks at the camera. He's like, all this information. He's like, it's terrible, it's bad, they're really bad. And then he gives her the bracelet, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I'll see you later. And he leaves. And then they pan up, and he's up there. Dodgson is up at the top,
Watching.
and he's like,
Yeah, like
Eating
it's
his
like his
peanut.
master plan is
I
coming
was like,
together. He had no.
That was fun. He was just eating peanuts and
Well,
looking
up
down
until
there.
that, up until the end too, we were saying like, why would Ian Malcolm's like wristband have access to all these like lab
Right.
things? Like, why would he be able to get into?
Right, it didn't make any sense. But
then he has that scene where he says, you know, that you give people promotions constantly and you up their pay so that they'll look the other way.
right,
So implying that like he has gotten so many promotions that he can go anywhere in that
right, in just
facility.
6 weeks or whatever.
because
he
they
was in
think
there.
they can just pay these people off to like be quiet.
Right. Which is maybe what he was thinking with Ellie and Alan. If they
Yeah.
were going to do say something or look at something, he'd just be like, "It's okay. Here's money.
Yeah.
I'll fund your dig site."
Yeah,
type
right.
of thing, right? Yeah. That's always how.
That's always how you
he's
get
like,
Alan.
All right.
That's all Alan cares about. But yeah, so there was a couple scenes that we were both got kind of confused.
Yes.
There was that scene. So like Ian's buddy there that he works with at the facility, he's like
Ramses, yeah.
So Ramses, he looks at the camera, and then he specifically says, "All right, I'm gonna leave you guys alone for like 30 minutes. Don't use those elevators; those are for the lab. You can use these ones." And it was very blatantly like he was telling them like
Way too much information, right?
to go
yeah.
that way, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't get in there without high security. So, and then we're like, oh, okay. And then I finally like put together like, yeah. So he's obviously working with Ian.
Right.
And then the other part was, Owen. So Claire gets jetpacked out of the plane,
Yes.
and they say, okay, you have the best chance. Get to the facility and save Maisie.
Right.
And their plane crashes, right? And she lands, and then they come out of the plane and they fight that raptor.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, here's the beacon. And you're like, oh, okay. Because I thought they landed like on top of the facility, and they were just going to go into the facility.
Same.
And so other stuff happens, whatever. And then you finally come back and you see them, and they're in the jungle. They're just like in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah, and I was like,
and they're like, Claire's got to be right over here. And I was like, I didn't understand that they were going into the jungle to get Claire. I thought like they were just gonna like storm the facility and let Claire meet them.
Right.
They like went to her.
And I was like, oh, Claire's not here. And then they went back to where they were.
Yeah. And then they meet up with her at that like radio tower or whatever that was. Or was that like the bottom of the facility? I was so confused by that because
I don't know.
it was like she was trying to get the ladder down right when all those Dilophosaurus were surrounding.
Oh, yes.
And then the Gigantosaurus comes, and now everybody's together, and they just go up the ladder, and they're just like in the facility.
Yeah.
And they're watching the whole park burn.
Yeah.
Or the preserve burn.
That was an interesting way to do that too. I had no idea what he was doing. Well, at first I thought he was burning the locusts and the crops and the thing, and then he like let him out, and I was like,
I don't think he did.
No,
I think so in that scene, if I remember it right, he wants to get rid of the locusts for the evidence, right? Because if they can match the blood sample of the locusts to the locusts that are out eating the crops.
Yeah,
they're screwed. So he tells them to incinerate the locusts. Right. But then the locusts inside that, like, he leaves in the elevator, and then the locusts in there, they start to, like, swarm, and they basically break out of containment. Because then the computer flashes, like, containment breach, and they fly out of the vent. And I don't think that was, like, a plan.
You don't think so? Because Ellie says, like, oh, he's trying to get rid of the evidence.
Right, which was the locusts.
Oh, just saying that, and this was just like an aftermath.
Yeah, because then he goes into the control room, and that lady in charge of the control room, she says the protocol is if the park is whatever breached or
and they're all coming here, and that's why he's like shut it down. And
so then they use the computer signals in the dinosaur's head to bring them in to the towards the front of the facility, get them out of the fire zone, and he was like mad about it, like he didn't want to do it. But he knew he had to. Yeah. So I just assumed that they just
See, that's why I gotta watch it again because I thought it was a totally planned thing. Yeah. Like he was doing a cool.
I don't think he's not that smart.
Okay. Okay.
No. Because then he was mad that they had to like evacuate the facility. He went in and he deleted all the files on his computer. He grabbed the Barbasol can to reconfirm that he's the original Dotson.
Yeah.
And like it was so fitting, because you leaned over and you're like, the Dilophosaurus is gonna eat him, and I was like, I don't know about that. And then I was like, oh, well, yeah, that's how Newman dies. So why wouldn't,
Of course, but 3 of them.
Yeah. It was like, hey, remember how that one took out?
Yeah.
Those things are creepy. I mean,
absolutely. Small. I mean, isn't this the second time we've ever seen them? I don't think they're in any of the other movies.
No. Yeah, I don't think so. No.
I mean... Well, I take that back. They are in Jurassic World in like the holograph. He turns on the machine and it scares the. Yeah, right. It scares the whatever's chasing him.
No, but like this, so this was even like again, it's a nighttime scene, and they like pop out of it, and just the noise, like as soon as you hear that noise, you're like, oh, I remember what that is. Yeah, I know that noise. That's the Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, he's gonna eat you. He'd spit on you.
He's gonna spit acid in your face.
Yeah. Oh. It's chocolate pudding. It looks like they just slap him with it.
Yeah, they just throw like tar at their face. Oh. That's so gross, sticky. Yeah. It's like poison.
Probably paralyzing too.
Yeah, it's a paralyzing poison.
Yeah. So that was the 2 things. If you remove when you watch the movie, you're like, maybe somebody from the main cast is gonna die. Mm-hmm. So if you remove that like threat, that like whatever you want to call it, like being unsure about it, the rest of the movie isn't really like scary. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of the other Jurassic movies are kind of tense. Yeah. And this didn't really feel like that.
There wasn't really a whole lot of people getting eaten.
And that's my second thing is, other than, literally you can count them. Like, you think of how many people... Scooter guy, right. Scooter guy. Random background guys in the black market. The one guy catches on fire and the other guy tries to save him. Oh, yeah. Those 2 guys get it. The, like, kidnapper guy. Mm-hmm. And then the main bad guy.
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
that's it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of that was one of my when I was thinking about it later, I was like, it's kind of weird that like not a lot of people get eaten
This
in these
movie
movies.
is specifically like dinosaurs are taking back the Earth.
Yeah.
Taking it back, and like 3 people get eaten.
Right. It's madness, and it's like, oh, okay.
I love the scooter guy.
He's like, what?
Did he have head? Did you see if he had like headphones
I don't
on or
think so.
something on his scooter? And then it was like there's 2 giant like
Yeah, whatever those things are.
Omnisauruses or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like going across.
He's like, that's weird. There's a raptor chasing this guy on a motorbike.
Like,
And he's
huh.
like,
It's so stupid.
yeah.
Oh man, but that was good. I like that scene. It's so much like, okay, hey, what if we made Jason Bourne, but with dinosaurs?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
with
'cause
Claire.
Claire's running
Yeah,
and jumping.
I did
and
think that
the
too.
Things are coming through the window, and it's just like anytime they're in Italy, they're like, we gotta jump from the roof to the apartment. We
Yep.
have to do it.
The
There's
ol-
no question.
The only issue I had was she's on foot running, right? The raptor's like, she's way too fast. Then they
Chris
get
Pratt's
on,
on the motorcycle.
then they get on the bike and the truck, and it's like it's right on top of her. And I was like,
Well, I had to do a little bit more jumping across.
sure, yeah. All right.
There really, honestly, there wasn't a whole lot in the movie that like took me out of it.
Not too much.
Few things.
There was a couple of
plane
things.
Crash.
The plane crash. Every movie that has a plane crash, and those guys are like,
That wasn't good. But they very blatantly like show like the plane's coming in and it's like this, and you would think it would just even if they just showed the plane like
scared.
hardly land, right?
Right.
And you'd be like, okay, yeah, you could survive that. But then they show the thing and it's like under the ice, it's like down in here, and it's like sinking. And you're like, it's a full impact.
Right. And they just come out like, oh.
So maybe it like skidded, and then the ice gave way, and then it tipped in. Maybe,
But you don't
show
see
it.
that. Right.
Show
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Show it.
Yeah.
Show that, and not like Claire and.
See, what they should have done was pop the thing, and I wish I could remember her name, but the pilot pops the thing.
Maverick.
She comes out, Maverick,
Yeah,
exactly.
what was her name? It was something American.
And she helps Owen out, and he's got like a broken arm or a
Yeah,
broken
or
leg
just
or something,
something.
right?
Yeah.
And now she has to like pin him up against the plane or against something and like fight the raptor off.
Yeah.
And it's her like ingenuity to show that she's a really cool character,
Yeah.
rather than just like, oh god, we're gonna run really fast on ice, and then like
Yeah,
what?
right.
And then he's gonna go in the water, and then come out, and it's totally fine. Like, because it's in movies, when ice breaks, it's only a certain small
Yeah,
body
you only
hole.
go like right in there.
Yeah, nobody on the
No
edges.
current.
No, there's nothing. That was when it took me
It's
out.
funny
The whole
that
ice
the,
plane.
the parts that took me out of the movie were like the same sequence of the movie.
Yeah.
So like the plane crashes, they come out and they're like, "We gotta get across this ice." And then the raptor comes around the corner, and that was cool seeing like
The raptor was cool. And whatever the heck the other thing was.
oh that the big claw thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what they're called, but they're herbivores. They're just super like
Just like-
mean. Yeah. So the raptor comes out, and then they're like, "All right, let's fight this raptor." And they both like Chris Pratt, pulls out his signature back knife.
Right.
Which I didn't see on his belt the entire movie until that scene. He's like, "Oh yeah, back knife." I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever." Like, cool.
It's fine, right?
Cool. And then they start fighting the thing. Then the ice cracks, and then they're like, "All right, now run!" And then they start running, and they're
Don't
running
think-
on the ice, and the ice is fine.
Yeah.
And then the raptor like dives under, and just like was just gonna circle him, and then Chris Pratt falls in, and then he immediately gets yanked out,
Immediately.
and then they're just laying there like, "Whew, that was cold." That was really cool.
And this
and they
thing's-
just they just laid there and talked.
And then it comes out.
And then they're like, and then it comes out, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. There's a raptor. It's like, dude, run. Oh, well. But they did get to use the classic Jurassic Park shut the gate.
They certainly
right,
did.
right before he gets there.
Yeah. They always do. Yeah.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. Yeah.
I don't know. There was and the other thing that took me out was just the whole end sequence from them hiding from.
They gotta have a big dinosaur fight at the end.
Yeah,
Like always.
like from that whole sequence to literally from when they're like going. He goes, "Don't move," and then Alan Grant's like he rolls his eyes because also Owen says it.
Dude, they both say it at the same time. I like that.
Yeah. From like that sequence to probably when they get in the helicopter thing, whatever that thing was. It just feels like there's a lot of deleted scenes and a lot of editing there that... I like the logo thing. The logo thing was fun, right? Did you see the T-Rex come through the waterfall circle thing? That was cool. That was fun.
Through the waterfall,
Well,
you knew the T-Rex was coming back at the end.
I totally thought the coolest thing to do, which to me would have merged all the movies, was have the T-Rex versus the new Biosyn thing, and like a Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom monster, like the Spinosaurus, or even like the Indominus Rex, like something that they had mutated.
Oh, like yeah, that's right. Because there's no hybrids.
Right. So it was like original dinosaurs, like what they were supposedly looking like with their feathers and all that, and the weird eyes,
that
and
big like herbivore thing with the big claws. I
right.
think it's from like the Paleontolo. I forget what it is. Not the Cretaceous, but the.
I know what you mean.
It's from like that
the Paleo period. Yeah,
whatever.
So like I thought that would be a lot better instead of having this, Gigantosaurus who didn't seem that much bigger.
Not really. No.
I
know, and every time they talk about it, like it's the biggest carnival that's ever been known.
Like,
and like T-Rex is here, and then the Gigasaurus is like here. And you're like, okay, the Spinosaurus was bigger.
Huge.
Remember how big the Spinosaurus could take the T-Rex and put its whole like head in its jaw and twist it? Remember?
Yeah.
And then all this thing is just like
it was biting his nose.
Like, it's so big.
I thought
his tail was big because he's got the big alligator tail.
Yeah.
So I guess lengthwise, not height.
I guess. But yeah, herbivore thing, original T-Rex from the first movie, and then have your weird genetic mutated monster.
Indominus raptor.
Right. Like, what if it's an Indominus Gigantosaurus?
Yeah.
Like, we've taken the most biggest predator ever, and then gave it, like, raptor and all these other crazy things in it, right?
Yeah. No, that would have been cool. It just... Yeah.
And then it shows that the original and the new destroyed the thing that nobody likes. And that's it, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Nobody... Yeah. That's all. It was fine that they killed the thing, and... It was kind of weird that he was like,
push him.
Push him into my fingers.
Okay, now you shove.
T-Rex is like, I got this.
I just like T-Rex was dead, and then they fly away, and he's just like, no, I'm fine.
I'm not dead. Yeah.
Sneak up on him.
I was the flashlight in his eye when he was like,
I'm ready to go. But it's finally a movie where Blue doesn't save the day at the end.
True. That's very true.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a little... Yeah, compared to the other movies, it was very blue light.
It was.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Well, she's trying to raise her family.
Yeah. He should have brought her with her. She should have been on the plane.
Let's go.
He'd run like this in the plane the whole time. No.
That's the thing. So when you see Jurassic World and you see like Chris Pratt and he's like a raptor handler and he's doing that, you're like, oh, this is cool.
Right.
But now it's like every movie forward, it's like, okay, we get it, Even
when Alan
time he
Grant
runs into a dinosaur, like the whole thing about the raptors is he raised them from like infants,
right?
So they like know who he is,
right?
Then they run into like a big full-grown dinosaur that's never seen humans before ever, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, because that scene where Maisie and Alan Grant do it to stop Beta, and it was cool. Yeah. It's a cool scene, but I was just like.
Maybe I could see it because Beta is the same DNA that Blue has to make her like submissive and whatever.
Right.
But it's just like every time they run into
when he saw the big he was like, oh.
It was like, what are you doing?
I know. It was funny. It was really
so
funny.
the scene that where the Gigantosaurus like breaks into the like window.
Oh yeah.
Chris Pratt like jumps and you're like, man, that was close, and then he like crashes through the window and it's like up. That like, did you ever play Dino Crisis?
Oh yeah.
So you remember like in the first one when you're in that office, the like office room.
Okay.
It's like in the beginning of the game, you're like on the second floor, you're in like a major guy's like office room, and you're going through like notes.
Okay.
And you're like, all right, cool, I got this. And then you're walking out towards the door, and the T-Rex bursts through the window. And he's doing this, and you have to like shoot him, and then duck and roll and get out of the door.
Okay, I kind of do remember that.
That's like so.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like that's that whole. It felt like somebody didn't make it, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, you can't
they
let so and so
filmed it.
die."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who.
I don't know.
It was really cool. You said we didn't talk about it here that Ian Malcolm got his like he got whatever like for the flare, right?
Oh yeah, he got his redemption from
Yeah, redemption. That was
getting
the word.
smashed through the
Yeah.
porta potty wall. Yeah, that was cool. He took the bug right, and he's got the torch,
Yeah,
and he jams it right down his throat.
yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I did like that.
Did you like the Indiana Jones like callback with Alan Grant?
Yeah,
I forgot that.
those were cool too. So when I was
whatever those things were.
when
yeah.
I was a kid, I did a book report on those, and I can't remember what they
Okay.
were.
So they're like
Spinosauruses, but they're
like Stegosauruses
they're
and Spinosauruses like together.
They're
right?
basically Komodo dragons with fins. Is basically
Oh,
what they are.
okay.
And I forget the name of them. It's like something with a D. I think.
I'm sure they say it in the movie too. Yeah. Oh god, that's.
Hey, that's what you off with you boys.
If I go like this,
Dimetrodon.
Redacted.
redacted. I'm stupid, is what it was like.
You're an idiot. Yeah, that was cool. So in the cave like that, I like that scene.
Yeah, that was cool. I did like every time they turn and look at the thing, and he was like,
One thing I didn't understand about that scene though is like they come into that big kind of room when they're being like chased by those things, and they like have their flashlights, and there's like human skulls in there,
yeah.
like implying that there had been other people.
I think people in the Amber Mine had been eaten by those things. I guess.
But the amber, yeah, I don't know. So like the amber mines would have been like mined way before they ever brought like
That's
dinosaurs
very
to that,
true.
that land.
Maybe they were. I don't know.
I don't know. And we thought at first that like plot of land was the
Yeah, it was a thing in
um,
2 or
Fallen Kingdom, right? Where
yeah, whatever movie talks about how it's like a remote area.
yeah, like Hammond and the other guy set up.
Yeah.
They never used.
Yeah, okay, it was in Fallen Kingdom. They
Yeah.
show like the thing.
Because
Yeah.
originally that's where he said that's where they were bringing them off the island, off of Nublar, Sorna.
Nublar is the
I can never
is the
remember which is
original,
which.
yeah.
They were bringing them there, and then they didn't. They brought them to the mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then the other thing that they explained well, that I was like, when we went into the movies, I was like, so that Fallen Kingdom ends with like they let like 10 different species out of that mansion,
Right.
and then all the trailers you see for Dominion is just like, there's all sorts of dinosaurs everywhere.
Everywhere, right, yeah.
It's like, how did they get everywhere? How did you get different species? How was it?
Yeah.
You know, whatever. And it still doesn't really explain
A
where
little,
all
but
these
not,
new
yeah.
or things are coming from.
Right.
Are they implying that Biosyn has like made new stuff and they're selling things to the black market for money, for profit to bring in?
Maybe.
Because like, so now you have the black market, but they're trading dinosaurs that didn't exist on Nublar, didn't exist on Sorna.
Right.
You know, so like, where are they coming from? But at least like that black market getting destroyed shows like how all these dinosaurs got out, like in Italy.
Right, yeah.
Because like that, you see that in the trailer, and like how
Why are there just dinosaurs everywhere?
there's like dinosaurs in like Nevada, and, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
so that I like. Did you like Owen like being like herding those?
Yeah, I did. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
things,
forget what they
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, those-
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
The only thing I thought, and I
Couldn't hold it.
I
Couldn't hold that rope.
yes. The thing that took me out is I was like, you know how I don't know if you ever there was I think it was an interview with Tom Hanks, and he said like in his career the things he's always wanted to do was like this thing, and one of them was ride a horse, like be a cowboy essentially,
Yeah,
or like
right.
ride a horse, because that's what as a kid that's
He
what he
would
saw
make a
his
terrible cowboy.
his people do. He wasn't bad in that News of the World thing.
Oh yeah.
If none of you ever saw it, he's actually not too bad. But he's not really a
Is
cowboy.
there a
in
mustache?
that. He has like a beard or a
Yeah.
goatee. Yeah, but he's not really a cowboy in that movie.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what he wanted to do. So when they show the scene and Chris Pratt is that thing, I was like, hey, cool. My brain was like, hey, cool. Chris Pratt can check off on his like filming thing.
I bet
He's
he
riding
didn't
a horse.
ride a horse.
And then when it zoomed in, I was like, he's not even on the horse. He's literally like going like, and because you could see the horse's head and him like were not in sync. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me! Like, I get like you're not gonna have dinosaurs there. I get that, but like just at least film them on a horse.
Yeah. But so that I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty good then. If that was like all CGI, that whole. Like,
yeah, I'm sure there were some horses on set because I think when he gets off, it probably was a real horse.
But I just mean like so like if you could see that he wasn't on a horse in that like scene, like still like the surrounding mountains and stuff looked really good.
Looks fantastic.
I never really looked hard enough to see if it was. I just kind of was like, that's cool. And then he gets pulled off and he gets wrapped around that stump and he's just like,
That's fine. City slickers all over again.
We've seen from the Lost World when all like 6 of those guys are trying to wrangle those dinosaurs. Remember they're doing this, and it just lifts its neck.
And the guy's
all
like,
6 of them going.
Not Chris Pratt though.
He's a man. He's a man.
Well, the thing they didn't do was get it in snow.
That's true.
It's very weak in snow. It's like Pokemon, right?
Yeah, he's weak. He's
like, oh.
At least it shows him like wrapping the rope around that stump a few times and then tying it, you know?
Sure.
And then again, whoa.
It's like, oh
man.
But speaking of that, the thing I thought was really cool, except for the Mosasaurus, I really, really enjoyed I think it's pretty much the end of the movie, and they're showing normal, everyday, day-to-day nature animals, like the animal kingdom doing things, and dinosaurs were like a part of the herds. I love that stuff. Like the
elephants.
Was it Triceratops or Stegosaurus? Yeah, it was something, and then like the pterodactyls with like the geese or whatever, and then like horses, and the only thing that didn't make sense was like whales and the Mosasaurus. I'm like, pretty sure the Mosasaurus would just eat the whales, but.
Yeah, it would totally.
It wouldn't be like, oh, hooray! Well, let's all go together.
It was so cool though how the movie opens with the mosasaur
eating the thing,
the crab boat.
Yeah,
and I was like, man. So like, crab fishing is already one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet, and then now you have like an actual like sea monster like that. Are you kidding me?
No.
I was just like, dude, that would be the most terrifying. Nobody would fish.
No, absolutely not. You'd be like, well, this is a multi-million-dollar business. Like, that's too bad.
And then, so...
I did think it was weird, though, that you wouldn't think that thing would go all the way up to Alaska.
Yeah, right? You would think it would stay in the warmer waters, but whatever. It's so big, it could just swim through the whole... One day, you just do the whole planet.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, so the thing that I said in the beginning of the movie, I was like, if that really were to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Marines and the Navy SEALs and, like, the U.S. Army, they would just eradicate all of them. There would be no question about it. They would just...
Oh, they broke out in California. Oh, well, they're all dead.
Well, yeah, we sent in a team.
They're like, oh, well, there's another country. Like, oh, well, but they're not in America.
No, what am I talking about? The Army would just take them, as like they were doing in the second movie with the lasers and
run around in the...
You like how they brought that back too, the whole laser pointing thing?
On the thing, yeah.
Oh, and how awful was that woman that was like the bad guy, like she was in charge of like the black market thing.
Yeah.
I've seen her in other stuff.
I want more money.
I want monies.
12 million.
12 millions. I've seen her in other stuff, and like everything I've seen her, she's like, so bad.
Yeah, she wasn't great. And she didn't get eaten.
No.
I don't know. She could be. She's probably somebody.
It's like, but she's running this black market outpost with all these like scumbags, like dirty people.
Nasty.
And she's like all white. She's got a dress in all her like Gucci and Louis Vuitton.
You totally want to stand out when you're doing like in the shadow deals, right?
Shoot this woman.
They needed to trank her.
Yeah, right. So you and I laughed so hard at that scene. Well, like she's like got the knife and she's fighting Claire, right?
Yeah,
Claire takes out the stun gun and she goes blam, and she goes, "You don't use it on people."
She's never ever been fought back at all.
I was like, you saw her using it.
That's what you said when she did it on the raptor.
And then she
use it on. Don't use it on them either.
You don't use it on dinosaurs either, man. Like, what are you doing? It was so funny. It was just such a weird out.
Yeah.
And then they focused on it.
Oh yeah.
They focused on like the facial reactions.
Yeah.
Like it was supposed to be funny.
I think
weird.
so. I think they were trying to go for a comedy.
You don't
beat.
use it on people. It's like you're a bad guy.
You're trying to kill me, right? Yeah.
You're trying to stab me, and you're
Yeah.
running black
Yeah.
market. You know. Oh well. Anyway.
But the original cast, I like Owen. I like Chris Pratt. But I love Jeff Goldblum was great in it.
Oh, he's so good.
I love too that like we talked about it, how they put him back in the. He's got like the walkie-talkie, and it's like that's what he was doing in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, right.
He's like, go to this machine, turn this thing on, do that
Yeah,
thing.
you see the big red button?
Well, actually, wasn't
Don't
what's his name doing
Push
it?
the big red button.
It was what's his name?
Hammond was there.
Hammond was doing it, and then he's like, look at the cable on the ceiling, like go follow right. So that's the thing I like.
And they're like, you have to be more clear. And he's like, I don't know how much more clear I could be than the button says E11. Like, it was just funny to me that like, so everybody else had like awful missions in that end scene. Like she had to go like out and like past the dinosaurs to get the helicopter.
Right.
And like they had to go in the basement and sublevel to get the beta.
Yeah.
And then the two like women had to go like walk over the bugs to like flip the breaker on, and they were like, "Oh no, oh god,
Bugs." Like, yeah, wow, yeah. Well, some ladies are afraid of bugs.
Well, I know that. I just mean, you got
I know.
raptors that want to eat your face off, and you got little grasshoppers.
Burning locusts.
You got like 100 scale grasshoppers.
But they were pretty nasty.
They
I
were
didn't.
gross.
I didn't think about it because when they were attacking them in that thing, and she was like, "No!" She's screaming, and I was like, "It's kind of okay. They're just weird big bugs. Like I
They're
get
sharp.
it."
They got, like,
But then when they came out, like all their clothes were torn, and I was like, either that's their legs or they're like eating it.
yeah.
And I was like,
no,
that's
no, trust
terrible.
me. I wouldn't want any part of being in that room with all those bugs either. Like, trust me. It
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
funny the juxtaposition that like
Yeah.
everybody else was dealing with, like carnivores.
Or hunting you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, true.
It was just funny. Yeah, I wouldn't want anything to do with those bugs either. The thing that was funny about that like containment room is like so like the bugs are just in there. They're just in the bins just like normally. Like you can just
Yeah.
open the bin and they're just all in there. I was like, how do you control that? Like how do you just go in there and
Yeah.
do anything without them like they're like, be quiet, you don't want them to stir. And then they get through the seal.
Grab him. And he's just like, what is this?
God, he's calling for his friends. So then they get through like the containment like shield in the doorway.
Yeah.
And it blasts them with that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so that stuff will just like kill them.
Kill the bugs.
Kill the bug. And it like didn't.
Then you're in
And I was like, what's the point? So it's making you sterile before you go into the.
it. Yeah.
Don't touch me, I'm sterile.
So I don't know. I don't know if you can. I don't know. I'm gonna ask him to do it. And
don't.
if it's copyright claim, then it won't be here, and it'll just be like redacted, and it's fine. But do you remember the like? It's not really like a sequel, but it's like Jumanji 2, and it's called Zathura, and it's the space board game.
God, yeah, I do.
Okay. So there's a scene in that where the kid's on the ship, and it made me think about what you were just saying. And the kid's on the ship, and he's going like this. And he goes, "It's just a goat. It's just a goat." And then the goat turns, or he's like third eyeball moves, and he goes, "It's not a goat. It's not a goat." But he's just like still trying to stay calm. It's like it's a perfect scene because it's just how he does. I don't know. You have to see if you can find it, but
That's funny.
just a hard cut would
I'll
be
have
good.
to find it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm sure I can just play it. If it's 10 seconds, I can play it.
yeah. It's literally like
Limited
a
to 10
second.
second material. Well,
It's
and
literally-
sometimes not even.
Sometimes they're like, "What is this?"
If it's got Billie Eilish in it,
Yeah, gone.
3 seconds you're out.
Because that's it.
Yeah, I literally wanted to use that part of her singing, like in No Time to Die, just her singing "It's No Time to Die," and I was like, 9.5. Get this guy out of here. Stupid.
Wow. What are you gonna do?
Oh well. Cool. So I think that'll wrap up the Minion. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't dislike the movie. I didn't, like you said, when I came out of the movie, I wasn't like, ugh, Fallen Kingdom garbage.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that. It's definitely a movie I need to like re-see, rewatch, kind of understand it a little bit better, look at it with another like viewpoint on it, kind of like we've been doing with all these movies.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing we did with the Bond stuff. We were watching it, and
Yeah.
we're like,
Like, wow, this is a
was
completely
trash.
different movie than I remember.
wow, they really call back to like everything.
Judy Dench.
I know, that's all. That's been the nice thing about it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've thought for the last 10 years of a lot of stuff, but then because I've seen these movies.
I don't know. Like even with this, like we went back and we enjoyed The Lost World way more than we ever
Way
did.
more. Way more. Yeah.
I honestly don't have a problem with any of the Jurassic Park like movies in this franchise.
And that's
None
why
of them.
it was so weird when before we went, I saw all these reviews of people, and even now, like it's
Still talking bad
it's like
about it.
31% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like people hate this movie.
The thing that kills me, I haven't seen it for this movie yet, is like you get these people. Not that we're like anything special, because we're just idiots on YouTube too. But like you'll get these like thumbnails, and it's like, so like with Book of Boba Fett, I've seen thumbnails, and it's very specific. Like the thumbnail says, "How to ruin a character, how to destroy a franchise." It's
Yes.
like, give me a break.
Yeah, that's true.
Give
It's
me
true.
a break.
I have seen those too. Yeah, this is what this one's
Doesn't-
gonna say too.
Yeah. Worst Jurassic movie ever.
And then we're gonna be like, it was great. No,
That's gonna be the intro. Worst piece of crap I've ever seen.
yeah, no, I know. It's so stupid. So that was the thing. So when we went in and saw it, sadly I told you that like 10 minutes before. Like,
Yeah, you're like, have you seen the reviews? I was like, no, I haven't looked at anything. You're like, they're in the toilet. I'm like, oh, well, now I'm excited.
yeah, I can't wait.
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's
so,
see how they mess this up.
but I don't know. I don't know. I've seen such trash
Yeah.
movies more worse
I mean,
than this.
go see any DC movie.
Well, yeah, I
Well,
can't.
we got Black Adam. He's kind of.
I'm not talking about that. That movie is literally. He's been talking about that movie for like 6 years. He's like, eventually, I'm gonna be the
I'm
man.
gonna be Black Adam. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be in a jungle, beautiful jungle. I can't wait for Black Adam to come out and it bombs, and then The Rock's gonna be like, oh, I'm also gonna be in the next Marvel movie, and it'll be great. He'll play some like major.
What you're
I'm gonna play the Thing in Fantastic Four.
is Black Adam is going to do horrible in the
Yeah.
United States, and then it's going to go to
Japan's
China
gonna love it.
and Japan,
Oh, we love.
and it's
we
going to
love
be
it.
like the third number highest gross ranking thing. It's going to beat Avatar, and it's going to be Black
No.
Adam. You know that's what happens these days. It goes overseas, and they're just like everyone went and saw it 45 times.
We love Avatar. We love Rock.
That's honestly, he's fine. I don't have an issue with him.
No.
But the reason why he's so popular is because he does amazing overseas. Amazing.
Really?
He does like astronomical overseas. Like the skyscraper movie he did, it was
yeah.
people were like, it's fine. You go overseas, they're like, more.
Best movie we've ever seen.
Exactly. So it's crazy. And it's not just like in Japan and China, like in Europe, he
funny.
he kills overseas. I don't know what it is, but he does.
Maybe they just got like the WWE over there.
They're like in the early mid to 90s. And
We
they're like,
smell what you're cooking, Rock.
we love it. We love it. And then he's gonna leave, and they're gonna be like, no,
No more Rock.
we hate Rock.
My grandmother, she hates the Rock.
I spit on the
I
Rock.
spit on the rocks.
That's okay. He'll be like 70 by the time that happens, so that's fine. And then
Well, that's what-
he'll be making
but
Black
that's what I
Adam
say.
3.
That's what I say about him and even Chris Pratt and Ryan Reynolds. Like I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But like every time you watch, you can't even turn the TV
Yeah.
on without seeing a new Ryan Reynolds trailer.
No, I know.
It's like when are these guys home?
Well, right now, like you said, right? So Chris Pratt, so Dominion,
Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah. That made for TV series.
They
we just
they
saw.
played that
Yeah.
Amazon thing while we were in the theater,
Yeah.
whatever that is. He's currently filming Guardians 3 or
they're working
just
on,
finished it or
just
something.
start- Yeah.
Something. I think they just started it.
Yeah.
And he's working on the Mario thing. He's got Garfield in the pipeline.
Oh my god. How does he do it?
I don't know.
Ryan Reynolds, dude. Ryan Reynolds puts out tons of movies.
It's because he married Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter,
Yeah, that's right.
and he has a Schwarzenegger blessing on him apparently now, and so now he can be in a movie. He can be in 6 movies in 1 year, and it's like nice.
It's just funny to me that with Ryan Reynolds, like Disney will give him movies as long as it's not the movie that he wants to be in.
Yeah. yeah.
But they've used that as like the big joke. Like
Yeah.
it's always like the joke that he's like, "What do I got to do to get a Marvel movie in
Yeah.
the Disney universe?"
Yeah.
Oh man, I do. I really like Ryan Reynolds.
Me too.
It's just every day you go on there and it's like, "Hey, do you want to see this time traveling movie with Ryan Reynolds?" I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
The Adam Project or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah.
And then speaking of The Rock, he did that movie with The Rock.
Oh yeah, Red Notice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was trash. It
Oh
was
yeah,
terrible.
but
it was garbage.
overseas,
Loved it.
amazing. I want to look it up. I'm gonna look. Well, yeah, I don't think you would know. I don't think we would know from a Netflix things how they did overseas. I want to see if I can pull up like I don't even know what a last Rock movie was. Besides his television series in Black Adam. No, it's fine.
Oh man. So what else does DC have in the pipeline?
Aquaman
Aquaman
2. Yup, Aquaman 2.
They had to refilm a lot of that to get, they put Johnny Depp in it and they took Hurt out of it.
I hope that's what they do.
Yeah, it's just Johnny Depp.
I want Johnny.
He's got the watery hair,
I want Johnny Depp to be. It's
Anybody.
it's clearly Johnny Depp is just like green screened over Amber Heard in those scenes, and it's him playing Mara. They gave him red hair, and he's like he's like, oh, I'm so sick.
Here's
and
the
I
thing
don't
about
feel
Johnny
good."
Depp.
Yeah.
If they were to say, "Hey, let's do it," he'd do it. He would kill it. He would nail it. He loves playing crazy, weird characters like that. He would do so well.
Oh yeah.
I just so because now that's been in the news.
Yeah.
My wife has never seen any of the Pirates movies.
Okay.
And she's like, let's watch the Pirates. And I'm just like, buckle in. Because this is a 6-movie franchise that should have ended at 2. Here we go.
Yeah.
And she's like, these are great.
Wow.
And it was funny, like, honestly, like, rewatching them, I was like, yeah, these are pretty, some of these hold up. Some of them have really good, and some of them have, like, just awful.
What's the Davy Jones one? Is that 3 or
2?
2? That
Davy
one's
Jones
good.
7-2.
'Cause I
That's
don't-
the last good one for me.
I don't remember 3. What's he fighting 3?
Davy Jones. Again. With
Again.
Davy Jones. Davy Jones's heart becomes controlled by the British Navy, the Royal Navy. So now the Royal Navy is using Davy Jones to destroy pirates, to get rid of pirates in the British seas. So now Jack Sparrow and Will Turner are both trying to get the heart.
Okay.
Davy Jones's heart. So
I kinda
Will Turner
remember
can
this.
save his father, Bootstrap Bill, on the ship.
Yeah.
And Jack Sparrow wants it just to be immortal and be Davy Jones.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then 4 is they're on the island, right?
4. 4 is... 4 is with Blackbeard.
Yes.
Blackbeard's the big bad guy. Zeta Jones.
Nope.
No.
But yes. I know who you're talking about.
Zorro, the woman from Zorro.
Yeah.
I thought it was Zeta
It's
Jones.
not Zeta Jones. No.
So she's Blackbeard's
yeah.
daughter, and the whole
Yeah.
point of that movie is they're trying to find the Fountain of Youth. And Blackbeard wants
Yes,
the Fountain
yes.
of Youth so he can live longer.
Gotcha.
And Barbossa's after it. Jack Sparrow's after it.
I kind of remember this. Yeah.
Barbossa dies at the end of that movie, I think. And then 5.
I didn't see 5. I
5
saw
is
4.
awful. 5
Yeah.
is terrible.
Yeah.
It's got people in it that I really like.
Yeah, what's his name from the Bond movies in it, right?
It's great.
Javier
Very
Bardem.
good. Javier Bardem. He's a French. He's like a cursed French pirate that, like, Johnny Depp, when he was, like, before he was even a captain, like, slipped around the thing, and the other guy crashed in the cave, and now he's like a cave.
Oh.
And there's something to do with, like, Johnny Depp's, like,
The compass thing that he uses.
But he gives
yeah.
the compass away, and as soon as he gives the compass away, that curse is broken. So now Javier Bardem and his, like, zombie
people
crew can
like the first
rule
movie
the sea.
basically, right?
Because
yeah.
like what his main character was is he was basically a privateer, and he was destroying pirates. Like he was just going out and killing pirates. So now he's still doing that as like a cursed
person.
guy.
Yeah, basically it sounds like the first movie, just not as probably well
it is.
thought out.
Yeah, but that's why someone kind of it's like, okay, now in this movie, Davy Jones wants Jack Sparrow dead. Okay. And then we started the next one. I was like, now in this movie, Barbossa wants Jack Sparrow dead. And now in this movie, the British government and Davy Jones want Jack Sparrow dead. And then in this movie, this guy wants Jack Sparrow dead. It's the plot
It's
of
the
the
same
movie.
thing. Yeah.
And Jack Sparrow wants to find whatever mythical thing he's trying to find to become like immortal. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, the first two, great movies.
Yeah.
They're great.
Their set pieces are really cool.
So good.
Yeah. So you saw the thing when you went back and watched. We talked about it in one of your other podcasts.
Oh,
the
yeah.
slow
the
motion
ship
explosion
blowing up.
thing.
Yeah, that's 3.
Oh, 3. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like the British bad guy of 3. And he's walking down the stairs. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
The cinematography of those movies, all are great.
Yeah.
I mean,
fantastic. I love the Kraken battle where they're fighting on the masts.
yeah.
And they're doing that.
It's good. Everything about it, like the action set pieces and stuff are
And the
great.
music is.
And Jack Sparrow's such a great character.
I know.
I mean,
Johnny Depp's really great in that role.
so rewatching those movies, I went online and I found like a really cool STL like 3D print file of like Jack Sparrow. Like it's the poster of like the third movie where he's walking through the fog. And
oh.
he's got like his
Yes, I think I know
his
what you're
sword out, and it's like I gotta print this now. I
Yeah.
gotta print it. Yeah. So that's our discussion of Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
That was here. It was. You're gonna cut this, and it's gonna be like a 2-minute recast of the pirate franchise. It'll be a separate video file.
It's like this changes to the ocean.
Wow. Nah, I don't know. That's fine.
Why do you do this?
I like doing that.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, cool. So that was fun. Yeah, I can't believe that we started a couple months ago. We're watching.
I think we
Jurassic
said right
Park,
beginning of April. Yeah.
and now we're like, all right, bye. Thanks for coming
That
out.
was that. We saw 6 movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So yeah, now Bond's over. Jurassic Park is over. I don't know what to do next.
So next year, I mean, it's a long time from now, but
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I think you do.
I hate Crystal Skull.
Well, no,
And that's a movie that I've seen multiple times, so I don't even. It's not like, oh well, maybe in my 30s I'll like. No,
you'll love it.
it sucks. It sucks. I want to know everything.
Everything's all of the things.
Teach me, aliens.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
That'll be
I
my
know.
next prop is the Crystal Skull.
Perfect.
Carving it out of real
Yeah.
crystal.
Wow.
Obviously.
Yeah. Otherwise, why?
What's the
Pointless.
Oh god. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. So yeah, we'll find something. We'll figure something out. I just reviewed all the Pirates movies, so we can't do that.
No. That's over with. Here's the plot of these other franchises. Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Let us know if there's anything, whatever. Like, let us know. Give us suggestions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other than that, I think that'll wrap up our Dominion Jurassic Park rewatch cast.
Yeah. It's finally come to an end. The
finally
park
come to-
is closed.
The park is closed. Wow,
Yeah.
That's great. Do you think, honestly, that is the last Jurassic Park movie we'll ever see?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What does Universal have? Universal has Jurassic. Don't.
Werewolf Man?
They don't. Yeah, they have the class.
Swamp Thing?
They have the classic monsters.
Dracula?
Yes.
No, they're all going to fight dinosaurs. Swamp Thing is great.
Yeah. But
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I
I
can't
grew up on
wait.
those movies.
But
I love those movies.
yeah. Oh yeah. All the
Let's
black
do that.
and white
Let's go
stuff.
back and rewatch all the creature.
We should watch all the old black and white creature features.
We need to do movie here, back of our heads here, and just
like Mystery
Mystery
Theater.
Science Theater 3000.
That's called Nerd Holes 4
Nerd
million.
Hole Science Theater. Don't copyright this. 400.
Please. Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be
The
pretty
old
fun.
black and whites. Because we did, for all you fans out there who want to know all about our personal lives, him and I years ago,
They
we went.
stopped watching this after we said spoilers ahead. We're 2 hours into. And remember when that one dinosaur was like,
They fast forward. And it just,
what are they talking about? Pirates now? What the?
Yeah. No, but a couple of years ago, we went and saw Son of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
Right?
dude. What if we set the camera up behind us?
He's
in
over
the
there
theater?
somewhere.
That was a good movie. Over there, that man gave it to me.
Oh, that man.
Where'd you get that watch? It's a man. Came out of the wall.
I was riveted.
That was
I
great.
riveted through the whole movie.
It was great.
Yeah, we should go back and watch the black and white creature features. That would be
We
fun.
need to set the camera up behind us in the theater,
Yeah.
and then be like the full aesthetic. Let's all go to the lobby.
I don't know how you would do that because you could literally put it on this.
Good. This jungle.
Yeah, and we would just play it here, like on your laptop or something. I don't know. It's something. I don't know how you would do it. But.
We could just sit here and just bring a projector and just project it onto the wall, and then just record on the phone. So this is all. You make the joke, but I don't edit anything because I'm just lazy.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you guys next time. Shut up.
Like, comment, subscribe, and
Buy us a coffee.
ring that bell for notifications.
I just want coffee.
Yeah.
I got the juice.
And buy him coffee.
I got the coffee juice. Coffee. All right.
Next time,
See you
Obi-Wan.
guys.
Bye.
See ya.